appropriate statements. But,
10 minutes.
see where to start here. First of all, let's talk about the workplace. You know, it is tough times right now. Employees are having tough times, employers are having tough times. I think people, particularly often look at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and think we represent, you know, just the big boys read about the paper. I'm sure people must, back in the Enron days, of course, we got Target with all that, even though Enron wasn't a member of the Chamber. In fact, 90% of our membership is small businesses, and I guarantee you, small businesses are having a tough time in the economy right now. But, and small business guys always struggle to make a profit and to pay their workers a decent wage and provide decent benefits. Now, you know, we've done our own surveys of the workplace, and surprisingly, they come back quite strong in terms of employee satisfaction. We did one, yes, it was prior to the recession, I don't have it in front of me, but 2008, approximately 89% of the workers came back and said they were satisfied with the working conditions and their bosses for that matter. Doesn't mean there's some bad apples. And it's not all that surprising when you think about, and Stewart talked about the decline in some coverage of health care and pensions. Yeah, well, it's declined because employers are voluntarily already providing about 154 million Americans with health care insurance, and about 89 million American pensions. And they're not doing that because the federal government requires them to do. They're doing that because they are voluntarily doing that. And sometimes, and then it's such a common aspect of today's workplace, that when you go up to Capitol Hill, you still run into staffers who commonly think that because it's happening so often that it must be mandated under federal law. No, it's not mandated under federal law. Employers are doing it on a voluntary basis. Now, with regard to the National Labor Relations Act, it's been around since 1935 or 37, and it was approved in 1947 with the Taft-Hartley Act. It hasn't changed roughly since 1947. It was amended in 1947 because of excess behavior by the unions. And one thing, you look at the 47 Act hearings, very extensive hearings, unlike we've had in the Congress on the Employment Choice Act with regard to needed amendments to the National Labor Relations Act. One of those amendments, which we can talk about later, was that workers need to hear the other side of the story rather than just from unions when there is an organizing campaign. And therefore, 8C was added to the National Labor Relations Act. So employers, yes, even those bad employers, would have an opportunity to tell their workers about the positives and negatives of unionization. I think my broader point on that, though, is that the law has remained basically unchanged, and that has been through appointments by liberal presidents and conservative presidents. And yet, the decline in the union movement has occurred over that period, with the exception of recently. And so I would suggest that, and that was from the 50s up through about a year ago, and I would suggest that the decline in union membership that Stewart, I think, blames on the law is really due to other reasons, such as, one, the fact that the unions have done a great job in terms of promoting social legislation, such as OSHA, Discrimination Acts, Family Medical Leave Act, to make things better in the workplace than federal mandates. And in some ways, that's undercut the need for the union movement, which is, you know, one of those ironies of politics. The other reason is employers are just not the employers of the 1930s and 1940s. They are better employers. I give a Labor Day press conference once a year, and invariably John Sweeney comes out and basically accuses employers of being terrorists or enemies of workers, and you need the unions as someone who is going to protect you as a worker from that bad employer. Well, when you got a bad employer and that bad employer is treating you poorly, then that's a right place to be organized. But I think most employers just don't fit that category. With regard to remedies and problems under the Act, again, those have been unchanged, and the unions had no problems with the way the Act was structured back in the 50s when the union membership was about a 30–35% density. Now, the Act hasn't been changed since 47, so there may be areas to look at in terms of a thorough review of the Act, and we've certainly talked about Senator Specter and others about having a series of long hearings on Capitol Hill. When I say long, maybe a month or two, to really thoroughly go through the Act, get structured testimony from both sides, employers, employees, and unions, and let's find areas where it could be improved. We haven't had that at Capitol Hill. We've had a few hearings on the Employment Choice Act, and boom, they implement the legislation. And frankly, I spent 10 years on Capitol Hill, and those show you got 4 witnesses on one side and you got 1 witness on the other, so they're hardly balanced. But a few balanced hearings on real changes to the National Labor Relations Act, what is needed would be helpful. With regard to the Employee Free Choice Act, Stewart kind of quickly went through a lot of provisions. No surprise to Stewart. I'm going to read a couple of comments from George McGovern about the act. First of all, let's focus on the so-called card check provisions. And this is from George McGovern. I'm looking around the room. I think a few people here sort of still remember who George McGovern was, but he certainly was as he put it, as a lifetime friend of labor unions, I must raise my voice against pending legislation, that's EFCA, I see as a disturbing, undemocratic overreach, not in the interest of either management or labor. That legislation is called the Employee Free Choice Act, and I'm sad to say that it runs counter to ideals that were once at the core of the labor movement. Under EFCA, Employee Free Choice Act, workers would lose the freedom to express their will in private, the right to make a decision without anyone peering over their shoulder, free from fear of reprisal. I worry that there's been too little discussion about EFCA's true ramifications, and I think much of the congressional support is based on a desire to give our friends among union leaders what they want. But part of being a good steward of democracy means telling our friends no when they press for a course that in the long run may weaken labor and dispute a tried and trusted method for conducting honest elections. And since I'm on a little bit of a roll here with George McGovern, Stewart has brought up the arbitration provisions of the bill, which I'll also talk about a little bit. George McGovern also said about the federal arbitration provisions. Now again, I'm going to talk about this. Let me lay the ground for a little bit. Under the National Labor Relations Act, the unions, once the unions recognize, the union and management come to the table and they try and arbitrate the first contract. Typically that first contract is the basis for other contracts later on, of course. Now, long ago the Congress considered should an arbitrator have a role in the private sector, I'm not talking about the public sector, or not. And Congress rejected that, and the Supreme Court rejected that. Under this bill, literally, if the union and the employer don't come to an agreement, the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service will appoint a, quote, panel of arbitrators who will, now panel may be, I assume it's 2, it's more than 1, but it might be 3, it might be 5, I suppose, probably 3. And that panel will determine every term or condition of employment in that workplace, ranging from job classifications to your 401k contributions, to wages, to overtime, everything you can think about at your workplace, that panel, everything that is, will write the contract that will govern how that employer is supposed to run his or her workplace. You might have an arbitrator that's smart. They can tell IBM how to run its workplace. They can tell Fred's hardware store down the street how to run his or her workplace. This is a sweeping turnover of power to a panel of, I'm not going to say government bureaucrats, because that's not what they are. They are appointed by the government, however, to people who may or may not know anything about this employer's business. It's a remarkable again, transfer of power, which certainly we will never buy into. And this is, let me just go back to George McGovern here a little bit. A federal appointed arbitrator cannot be expected to understand the nuances specific to each business dispute, the competitive market position of the business, or the plethora of other factors unique to each case. Yet fundamental decisions on wages and benefit costs, rules for promotions, or even rules for exiting an unprofitable line of business can fall to federal arbitrators under the Employee Free Choice Act. So that was just actually about a week ago where McGovern placed that editorial in the Wall Street Journal. Look, we have concerns about the card check provisions. We have concerns because numerous former union organizers have testified on Capitol Hill that the card check process is in fact subject to coercion on the part of union organizers. It always occurs, but it certainly can happen. The National Labor Relations Act has confirmed that in past cases. The courts have confirmed that numerous times, noting that the secret ballot process is the much preferred method of determining whether or not a worker in fact must be represented by a union. I would encourage you to go to the hearings on Capitol Hill and look at some of the testimony by some of these people. I'm just going to read one paragraph. Many workers do actually realize that they have been manipulated after the fact and ask for their cards back or ask to have them returned to them. The union's strategy was to never return or destroy such cards, which includes in the official count toward the majority, in other words, in the last few years.